Have you ever noticed that your adult child's crisis has quietly become your crisis? When something falls apart in their life, your nervous system is the one that spikes. Your mind is the one that starts racing. And before you even really think it through, you're already fixing their problem. And if that's you, you're not weak, you're not foolish, and you're not alone. But you might be stuck in what I call the fixer cycle. And today we're going to talk about why saying to yourself that you're done fixing it might actually be the most loving shift you could ever make. Because when you fix, they react. And when they react, you fix again. And before you know it, you're both stuck. So I have 4 points for you. Let's dive right in. Let's dive into the fixer identity or the fixer cycle. I think every mom, most moms have been on this at some point in the journey. But I want you to remember that when they were 5 years old, fixing was very appropriate. You fixed their scraped knees, you fixed their homework, you fixed fights with their friends. But now here they are, 25, 35, 45, 55, and we're still fixing. We're fixing the rent issue. We're fixing relationships. We're fixing emotional meltdowns. And we're fixing consequences that are theirs to bear. But here's how the cycle works. They struggle, and then you feel anxiety, and you step in. They don't fully learn, and then they struggle again, and then you feel anxiety again, and so on. And it just goes around and around. And the fixing isn't solving the problem. It's feeding the cycle. But here's the hard part for moms. When you rush in, they don't rise up. They don't rise to the occasion, do they? They react to your prompt. And so over time, they begin depending on your reaction instead of developing their own response. And that's not because necessarily that you were controlling. It's because you love them and you didn't want to see them hurt. But with love without any space or consequence, that can create dependence. And that's what a lot of the moms that I serve are experiencing. Number 2 is why it can lead to resentment. Being in that fixer cycle leads to not only resentment, but even disrespect. But that's what most moms don't realize is when help becomes constant, it becomes expected. And who likes to have that happen? Because then you're sitting there thinking, how in the world do I get out of this? Because it becomes expected, then that turns into entitlement. And a lot of you have shared that. You're very well aware of what that word means. Many of you know that you kind of gave your kids that entitlement mentality by always fixing everything for them. But when it turns into entitlement, then there's no gratitude for anything anymore. And then you start maybe even feeling used or drained, unappreciated, like, oh, they only contact me when they need something. So that's how you're feeling. And then they're probably feeling, some of them, controlled, right? Irritated and dependent. Some of them like it, some of them really don't. But you can't treat someone like they're incapable and then expect them to respond like they have all this empowerment. And so when you finally try to step back, the cycle, you and they are on this cycle, they don't like to be interrupted. So then you're going to get pushback. One person jumps off that roller coaster, the other person's like, wait a minute, where'd you go? Like, what's happening here? So there's going to be pushback, not because you're doing something wrong, but the dynamic is going to change, and that's what we need. So if that is you and you are a mom saying, yep, I'm watching this and I realize I am in the fixer cycle, you're exhausted. Maybe you've been carrying this really quietly by yourself and maybe not. But if you are and you need extra support, this is exactly why I created the Rise Retreat. It's a 1.5 day in-person experience for moms of estranged or struggling adult children who are ready to step out of the isolation you find yourself in and into some real connection. It's not a venting weekend necessarily. It is structured, faith-centered growth. We focus on healing, self-awareness, accountability, learning how to respond differently, not just react, right? That is just a piece of what we talk about. But this is for the mom who knows that she cannot keep going the way she's going. And she does not need to do this alone. So if you're ready to break some patterns and build some support with other moms who also will understand, registration is currently open and tickets are available right now. If you're ready to stop fixing and start rising, I'd love to see you there. You can find all that information in the show notes and in the description below. Number 3 is making the shift. How do we go from responsible for to responsible to? This is huge. You're not responsible for their bills, their moods, their choices, all of that, their consequences, but you're responsible to do this. To them, I want you to be kind, I want you to be honest, and I want you to be consistent. The last thing someone on this fixer cycle needs is someone who's wishy-washy. One day I'm going to provide this for you, and the next day I'm going to pull it away again. That's very confusing. So we need to model that. You are responsible for your obedience in that, not the outcome. And that changes everything, knowing that you're not responsible for the outcome. Because when you believe you're responsible for that, you're going to panic every time something goes wrong. But when you know that you're responsible to show up in truth and love, like I know you do love them, then that releases that for you and your nervous system gets to calm down. And lastly, number 4 is regulating before you respond. We all know this, but some of you still aren't doing it. Many times we're not fixing because they need it. We're fixing because we need relief. And when your adult child calls you in crisis, your thoughts are racing and you feel all this urgency, but fixing gives this temporary relief to your own anxiety. It's not even solving your problem. So here's a practical shift for you next time that you get that urgency call. I want you to pause. I want you to breathe. I want you to pause. And I want you to wait even 24 hours before offering any type of solution. I want you to pray before responding. And I want you to ask one question instead of giving one answer. Ask them a question, but don't give any answers. When your silence is heard, silence can be deafening, right? But it's heard from them. And if you remove your immediate reaction, then they're forced to develop a response. And that's where they mature, you mature, and all of that. And so, again, like I mentioned, you might want to expect some escalation there before it's going to be super peaceful. So just know that going into it. So if you're a mom navigating this and you're ready to break this cycle, the retreat is fantastic if you want in-person experience. But if you're looking for coaching, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, you can book what's called a heart-to-heart consultation. That information is also below. And that is a consultation where you and I meet for 30 minutes, but it's an opportunity to give me the information of what your situation looks like, but it is not a coaching call. When these moms like you are ready to dive into coaching and you want more information on that, that's the purpose of the call. And this is for those of you that are navigating adult children over the age of 18. So I look forward to talking to you in whatever capacity you need it right now. And I hope this blessed you. God bless, and I'll see you in the next episode.